Welcome back to Doing Hippie Machine YouTube. Today, I'm going to try to fix my CNC machine. If you watch regularly, you might have seen a while back I was cutting some stuff in here. I was cutting, it's still in here. I was cutting slugs for welding beams up over there for uniballs. I ended up getting one and then had a problem with a tool getting caught in the spindle, and I had an ATC problem. So the ATC is your automatic tool changer. That's this drum here that holds all my tools. It got stuck. I had to power the machine down. That's powered by air, so it's pneumatic. So once the air cylinder drained, I was able to manually push it back into position. And then it was not, I tried doing tool changes and it wasn't working. So I ended up just shutting it down. Haven't done anything with it since. But I've got some work coming up that I need to fix this thing. So that's what we're doing. I did some research online, found some forums with these old machines, and we're gonna hope what some people said on the internet will fix this thing. So I'm gonna show you in the back what I found, and then we're gonna fire this thing up and see if that ATC works again. All right, so back here is the electrical cabinet. This is where all the electrical components and circuits and different stuff is stored at. There's another cabinet on the other side, but this one, I was reading on the old interwebs, there is some breakers in here. Let me get situated. And that one of them might be popped. I did not actually read which breaker or where it's located, but I did open the cabinet, and this breaker right here, I've already pushed it back in, but that one was popped. It was sticking out. So I pushed that in, and I'm gonna hope now that that fixed it. There's a couple different breakers back in here that you can press if they get tripped. So that is pretty much my fix. If it was that easy, I probably should have tried that the day that it broke, but you know, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. So I'm gonna hook up my air to the machine and turn on my phase converter down here, and we'll get this thing powered up. All right, machine is on, and let's see here. T5M6, little command for changing tools, and there we go. AT is fixed. We are back in business. Oh, I'm pretty pumped. I also feel a little silly and stupid that all I had to do was press a breaker. That did the trick. She is back up and running. ATC is working. All it was is a little pop breaker. It would have been nice maybe if I would have tried that a little sooner, but just how it goes with being here, being a one-man show in a business. I've got projects going on all over, so I'm just jumping around all the time. I've been working on my C10 9-inch, but the brackets are all cut out now, and I've even been starting to re-weld some stuff. Let's see. Oh, we got another tool change coming in with the engraver. Oh yeah, nice. Nice. Love to see it. Watch that thing come down. I always like to double check. This is a good program, but I haven't run nothing in a while. So this is my distance to go. Negative 0.244, 244 thousandths. Yeah, it looks about right. Just always like to make sure that we don't got no problems in here. Just put a little chamfer on the top side of that, and then that little part will be done. I'll flip it over and face it. Another little project, I'm just waiting on some screws I finished up. I got my buddy Rob. He's down in Florida flipping dirt bikes for a living. That's what that dude does. And he had a bike, an accident a while back, and some flip levers that got tweaked. So he sent them to me. I tweaked them back. Got the bars bent back shape, and right now I'm just waiting on some new Allen screws to come in. That one got a little tweaked in the accident. So waiting on some screws. I'll put those back together. We'll get those shipped back out to him, and he's building a second bike because he's got to ship one overseas. I forget what country, but he's going to do some shows overseas. And then the old Lincoln here, actually not old, it's brand new. That thing's been ripping. I got 3 different sets of spindles here. This one here is for my C10, getting going on that. I got a few things welded. These ones are done. These are for the Chevy here, which I also have the beams done for that. So need to get the radius arms done on that, and then that one will be done. And then I also just welded up the other day a set. I need to do the steering arm tabs is all for this Ranger here. I'm going to be starting on that, swapping out these beams here with those Ranger beams. So now that I got my machine back up and running, I also have a project I started before I was doing these uniball slugs for welding up my beams. I've got some of my Dana 44 spindle caps here. So I got a whole bunch of them that have the first stop done, and now they need, they need faced off, and they need the nice little DH logo cut in there. So we're gonna get those as soon as I face that off on the backside. I'll get those set back up and get those running. And then I'll probably be, I only have one 50 amp breaker that's out in my shop, and I'm running my converter on it. I have not tested yet if I can weld and run the converter at the same time. Based on math, I should be able to. I just don't really want to pop the breaker when that machine's on and have something screw up. So I think what I'm gonna do is I got a set of shocks over there that need torn apart, ready for a rebuild. I'm gonna get those going. So as soon as I get that thing all dialed in with the hubcap covers, I'll start doing that. And then another project, actually, I just saw these. We got some VW 5x5 arms that I'm gonna be doing some modifying on. So all sorts of cool projects going on here at Dune Heavy Machine. Really good for my squirrel-like brain that likes to jump around and do all sorts of different things. So let's set up some parts in the mill and get those running. There we have it. Nice little machine slug of aluminum. We'll show you what these are used for. I got a set of my beams here. Right in there, that's a uniball cup for a uniball bearing to go into. Here's one not welded. There we go. Drops in just like so. So now when I weld these things up, this one is not tall enough. This is not a uniball cup I actually use. You can see those ones are a little taller, but that helps keep the round uniball cup round for when you, these are the bearings here. So this is a machined surface. Don't mind all the metal shavings on it. We'll clean those up. But that surface there is ground, and those drop in to those. So when you're welding on these things a bunch, you obviously don't want that to work, because then that uniball is not going to fit in there. So now I got a second one of those. That's what I was working on. I got this one here, which I ended up just using it on both of them, and just took me a little longer because I had to weld one and then let it cool before I could weld the other one. But that is what I was doing when my ATC broke in that thing, and then I just moved on. I was working on these. I wanted to get those wrapped up. So now that I got that fixed, I got two of those, and good thing, because I got two more sets of beams I'm going to be making. So I will use that. And now we're gonna start setting the machine up. I gotta add some tools. I don't have all the tools in there anymore. Oh, you know what? Maybe I lied. Maybe I do. I think that's the right drill and the right center drill. But nonetheless, I gotta make sure I'll double check all my stuff because it's been a while. I need my drill, little end mills, stuff like that to machine out the batch of these. We're gonna try to run out the rest of these today. So I'll probably set up the GoPro over on my side here while I'm kind of doing some setup stuff, and then we'll get some more parts running in the machine. I'm so pumped this thing's back running. All right, I already got one of them done and off the mill right here. Got them all set up now. My GoPro batteries, I need to buy more batteries because my GoPro batteries are always dying, but I was setting that up and my GoPro batteries died, and I hadn't charged my other one, so I just finished setting it up and we are off and running now. Right now, I just loaded a new one in. I proved everything out. This program is a program I already had. I just got to make sure I pick up my WPC, which is your workpiece coordinate. So your X, Y, Z, this is a 3-axis mill. You have 3 different axes, X, Y, and Z. Make sure that's all set. Make sure all the right tools are in there. So that's what I did. I did a run through, nice and slow. There's things like this. Right now I have it on. It's optional stop. What that does is after every tool, it'll stop up at the carousel before the tool change happens. It'll stop up there, and if you got something you want to check or you need to measure something, whatever, you can kind of be off in the shop working on stuff and it'll stop waiting there for you. So for me, I have it stopped just to make sure. A couple of these, like this one, is really close if it's going to clean up. So before I move on with any of the blanks, I want to make sure the face mill actually cleaned all the way up, if I got to drop it or not. So right here, you'll see that tool just finished, the face mill, and there, it's just sitting there. It actually says that, waiting right there. It's waiting for me to give it a command. So we can check the top of this thing. Oh yeah, nice. So that is now what it looks like with one of those loaded in the vices. These jaws are some jaws that I cut specifically for this job. They have the shape of the first operation that's already done on all of these. So those 2 steps there. And now that it's good to go, I'll flick this guy off and I'll hit my start. And it will go into a tool change, and then it's going to run through the rest of the tools. It will, I think it drills the holes, and then it cuts out the DH, and then it does a chamfer on everything. So I can just let this thing run now. I got that all set up. I'll show you a little bit. I won't get sprayed here, but pretty simple stuff. Comes in. That's a spot drill because I'm using all high-speed steel tooling. I don't have carbide stuff here other than some end mills. So just some high-speed drills. Actually, it's like a Harbor Freight high-speed steel drill. But now that I got that running, super pumped on that. I got that thing back up and running now. So now I'm going to grab those shocks. I need to finish, I'm going to clear up. This is my little shock area that I have, kind of my little table. I have some the last shocks I did, the seals and the hoses I changed out are still sitting there. So I'm going to come in here and clean all this type of stuff up. And yeah, be able to work on some shock teardown and rebuilds while I'm also building my Dana 44 hubcap stock back up. These are the backing plates for these. I've got to get those coated yet so those don't rust on people. But nonetheless, if you're interested in something like this, these are for 2-wheel drive, mostly beam applications. I guess you could be using like A-arms, but you should know by now, ditch the A-arms, you need beams. What you need is a set of them bad boys right there. Anyways, I'm just really geeking out right now because my machine's going again. It's been down for a while, and really it wasn't even a hard fix. I literally had to hit a reset thing. But it's stuff like this when you're in a business and you're trying to do a million things at once. Yeah, when something's broken, I just moved on to different tasks and I've been working on it. And actually now, the reason I got this going, I was telling you about these flip bars from my buddy. These are a set that he bought off of somebody, but he is interested in having me build him a set. So pretty simple. This is some aluminum piece, 2 pieces here, but he's got a different style here. There's different types of designs, but that's a project that I'm going to work on with him. And he's actually got another product for freestyle guys. Zoom in there, that he needs machined, another part he's bought. So where I'm working with him to kind of come up with some products, I got to do some drawing, get some CAD models going, and start figuring out and program some parts to be able to make for him. So because of that, we were talking, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna work on my machine so we can actually work on this project. So now that I'm doing that, I'm building my stock back up of my hubcap kits so I can sell those. And then in the future, we will be working on making some freestyle FMX flip levers for guys doing backflips and taking their legs and stuff off of a bike, which is gnarly to me. I mean, I think what I do is pretty cool with my truck and what am I building. I've always grown up riding, racing dirt bikes, except for the last like 5 years I haven't rode. But to see dudes like still going after the freestyle motocross thing, super proud of my buddy. He runs his own business, he runs shows. So really cool to be able to try to make something for him and get a part of his program. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. And then we got some other ideas for more products as well. So yeah, it's already drilled, it's got the little counter bores done, and now it's going to come in and do the DH engraving. So we're going to let this little baby rip, and I'm going to get going on some shocks, and maybe I will show you I just finished tearing down this first shock. This is a front shock off of a Can-Am side-by-side. These Spock shocks come on all sorts of different side-by-sides. The XYZs, the Yamahas, I think even the Honda Talons. And there's probably more. Those are the only ones I know off the top of my head. But figured I'd show you a little bit of the internals, that what looks like inside of these things. This is your rebound stack. We have a compression stack, so those are your different shims. We have the piston here, which those go on either side of that. A lot of these side-by-sides also, these shocks vary a lot. These things, they may look the same if you're looking at the outsides of them, but there is a lot of different models. They are constantly changing the designs on these things. Every couple years, they are different. So these are the ones we've got. The other thing that I do, I'm tearing these down for a rebuild and a revalve, changing the valving in them a little bit. These already have the shock therapy spring kit on them, so that's been done. And the other main thing I'm going to be doing to these is swapping out the way that the nitrogen gets filled in these. These use what is, it would be like, I think it's hyperbaric, I don't know how to say that, but the little needle, like if you're getting a shot at the doctor, you have to use those to fill them with nitrogen. I have a little setup up here. This is like, I don't really know what this material is, but it's pretty much like rubber. And it's supposed to be what's known, it would be called like a self-healing rubber. So when you pierce it with a needle, you fill it with nitrogen, and when you pull the needle back out, it's supposed to close up that tiny little hole and then not leak. The problem is that doesn't actually work. These things notoriously, it's hit or miss. It depends on how long the owners of these things, when I get them, have had the vehicle, how many miles, how aggressive they've driven it. But it's, I don't know, if I put it in a range of 50-50, when I drill those things out, so that's actually how I drain them. You might have seen in the little beginning of the video, I take this little tiny drill bit here, and you drill them in, drill the hole into there, and then you pull the drill bit out and nitrogen will release, and then you can take them apart. Sometimes I'll drill those out and I won't hear anything come out. No nitrogen, no nothing. And that's not a good time when you have no nitrogen in your shocks and then you're running them. That's how you start getting internal parts that can get damaged, because there's cavitation going on inside the oil of the shock, little tiny bubbles, and it creates a ton of heat. So nitrogen's very important. Also being able to check nitrogen and fill it. I don't even have the little needle set up for filling nitrogen because I just don't do it. So what I do, anytime I get these in, I got right here a little Schrader valve. It's a NPT thread. What I'll do now is I'll actually drill this out with the proper size and then tap it with that NPT pipe thread, and then we'll put in a Schrader valve. So then after I reassemble these things, put them all back together, fresh oil, brand new seals, all that stuff, we'll be able to actually fill and check these things, you know, maybe on a yearly basis or whatever. I always suggest, especially in Michigan, it is a good idea because we go through such dramatic temperature changes versus from the dune season to winter. It's a good idea to always check your nitrogen in the spring and make sure you're still good. That's all I really have about the shocks. Nothing too crazy. Did want to share. People like seeing that stuff, and I know there is a lot of people with the UTV shocks that watch my channel and hit me up. I've done quite a few sets of these things, so if you need your UTV side-by-side shocks redone in Michigan here, hit me up. I don't do any live valve. The newer ones with all the electronics, it just takes a bunch of tools that I don't have. But the older stuff, I do those. So that's that. CNC machine. I am got the last one in there right now. I've been running these things out. Got a whole stack of them now. So if you are in the market for Dana 44 hubcap covers for your pre-runner, hit me up. There's my pre-runner right there. They go right there on that hub. I gotta put the kits together. They come with stainless steel screws, an O-ring for sealing the hub off. There's a snap ring that goes in between the actual cap and the backing plate. And then I've got to get these actually coated yet. So nonetheless, I've got them back in stock. Those will be ready to go in another day or two. So super pumped. Again, I feel so silly that I let this thing sit for so long, and all I had to do was hit a reset button on a breaker and could have been running. But hey, here we are. We all live another day and learn another lesson. Last thing I wanted to get to in this video is the fast etch. I don't remember a video or two ago, I was talking about the rust on this frame. I cleaned it up with a flap wheel and a wire wheel a bunch, and then was gonna spray it with fast etch. Well, I already done and did that, and this is now the result. So if you see in there, all that rust that got sprayed with that fast etch is now turned a black color. So from what I know about it, the rusting process should be stopped. I still got to come in here and do some more grinding cleanup work. The top of the frame, I'm gonna have to do, you know, like all these things, the work never stops. I got to clean all this wiring up to get actual access up in there. But I wanted to at least show it right now of what that product looks like on there. And then up there, I didn't do any grinding up there yet. So the reason I focus mainly only on this part here is because I'm going to be working on the beam pivots on this thing. So that's the next thing on the white Chevy, is getting the beam pivots on there and actually getting the beams under here. I have the beams, the spindles, and everything all done for this. The only thing I'll need then is the radius arms. But I want to get the beams on there first to make sure the radius arms don't need to be changed length. This is a 2014 Silverado, and the other Silverado that I beamed last year was a 2001. So I just want to make sure the mounting point is not going to move, it's not going to change. So that's kind of where we're at on this thing. Yeah, fast etch. Not paid by the company or anything, but a little product review, show you the stuff that I use here at Dune Hippie Machine. It's kind of what we do on this channel. Don't mind my sweatpants if you see those. I just didn't feel like wearing real pants today. Anyways, I got all sorts of more work and stuff to do. There we go. All the spindles laid out. I gotta put those back away. Keep working on it. But again, thanks everyone that watched these videos. Keeps me going. All the work that comes in my shop, I appreciate every one of you. If you see me on the dunes, make sure you say hi. Peace.